Hello, Scrantonians. Lee Morgan. One more video. It's been a while. Some scheduling conflicts. Everything's working out fairly well here. But I wanted to talk about Scranton City Council because we're on the Home Rule Charter. And, I just want to point out a couple things about the council and about Scranton's government in general that really needs to be highlighted. But before I say that, I'd like to thank the residents of the city who have been demanding that we not close any more schools in Scranton. I really appreciate you taking the time and effort necessary to preserve the schools in Scranton. And, it's a thankless job what you're doing, but the children absolutely deserve to be educated. I think it's time for the Scranton School District to request more funding for the state, and I would hope that the parents in Scranton would keep the pressure on because there seems to be a rollback in the closure plan. And I'd like all the people that are out there to remain vocal and start demanding pre-K. There's money for everything else, as I'm going to highlight here today, except for the children in Scranton. And I'm extremely troubled that the mayor nor the council has chimed in opposition to the closing of these schools. Because if anybody should understand how important those schools are, it should be Scranton's elected city government. Because when people determine where they're going to live, the schools are a #1 priority. If you take the time to look back at Scranton council meetings, you can see that a couple of the council members have talked about how great the Scranton School District is. But I think that's really misleading because if you go on your computer or your cell phone and you ask what the placement of the scholastic testing is for the students in the city of Scranton, they're on the bottom 3/10 in Pennsylvania. So 7/10 of the children in Pennsylvania are doing better. And we listen to the silliest things. Mr. King was involved in the Scranton School District for a considerable period of time. And to talk about, children not speaking English, we've got a president who's opened our border and we're being flooded with non-speaking, English-speaking people. And they're being flooded into the schools and overburdening the schools. And there's no federal aid coming for that. And I just like to highlight that. It's not anything against the children. It's about the politics of it all. Now, what I want to do now is I want to talk about the slide and the pool at Naog Park. I took the opportunity to call the Scranton Recreational Authority at Naog Park to try to get some information in regards to the removal of the pool and who authorized that removal. I also asked them about tearing down the slide, which was a project during the Doherty administration that cost over $300,000 to build. Now, at a council meeting, the mayor was at a council meeting prior to the meeting itself. And I asked the mayor, I asked the council, and I asked the rec authority. I haven't asked the controller yet to come sit in council and let's have a discussion about what's taken place at Naog Park in regards to the pool and the slide, because when you're trying to present a point to the council, you have 5 minutes. They don't answer your questions. You need to get these elected officials to come down from the dais, sit at a table, and have a discussion that informs the residents about what has occurred. And when you do right to knows, well, we're starting to find out that I have a right to know here from November 16th from the city. And what they're saying in regard to the slide is there was nothing on the council agenda for that, okay? Nothing, not for possession, custody, or control. None of the documents are in control of the city in regards to the slide, okay? So usually authorities in Pennsylvania. The city itself doesn't have any authority to come into that park and do anything without the permission of the authority itself. So then you have to ask yourself, did the authority grant permission to remove the pool? And how about when the city did a study and they determined that the liner could be repaired in the pool? Because now the city's stating it just doesn't have the money to build a pool. So then it becomes a matter of public safety. Because where are all these children going to go to swim in the summer? Okay, they've removed a pool. They could have fixed the liner. Nobody's going to tell you how they got the authority to remove the pool. Nor are they going to tell you, okay, just in this right to know, how they determined to take the slide down. And that no money came through council to remove the slide. So, you just try to understand what's happening to a community after 30 years under Act 47, and you have a mayor who won't come forward and discuss the issue in public for the cameras to see with the council or the rec authority. The saving grace here now is that a member of the rec authority is on the Scranton City Council, and I intend to ask him those questions at the next meeting, and to furnish records, because if anybody should know what happened there, a member of the authority should understand that. I just think that, we have real big problems in the city. I brought agendas with me from the city council meetings for about the last 2 months. So you can see them. Here they are. I'm not going to go through individual ones, but there's millions of dollars, and I mean millions and millions of grant money going through this city. Okay? And you have to ask yourself, we're funding all kinds of projects through this city, and just unbelievable. $1 million here, $1 million there, a couple $1 million over here. But where's the money for the neighborhoods? Where's the money to finance the Scranton School District? Where's the money that's going to benefit the community itself? Because evidently we're taking very good care of special interest. And we have a mayor and a council, who just won't be forthright. Stoically sitting for a councilman at a council meeting and not know anything. Marie asked a question, I believe it was last week, about an issue, and the councilman told her that she should pick up the phone and call somebody to get the answer. Nobody has any answers, okay? And you call and you get run around. And it's reached the point where you have to ask yourself, where's the city going after 30 years of distress? And allegedly now, all these great plans they have for closures of schools. I wouldn't accept the study that the Scranton School District's having done in regards to the schools because they're paying for it. So evidently, they know what they want the study to say. And when you look at some of the things like creating a stormwater authority, the city sold the sewer authority off. Okay, we don't even know where all that money went. I know it didn't go into the city's pension plans like it was supposed to. Okay, and in the end, that mayor was convicted and sentenced and put in jail. So, if that's any indication of what's going on in our community, take it for what it's worth. We've just got to get back to the basics. I'm really troubled that some of the neighborhood associations have sold their buildings, and the neighborhood groups have to start really presenting an argument for the city to create a fund. I think $150 million would be enough to start, considering that there's more than that in these agendas. Okay? So, and that's only a couple months. I think it's time for the state government to send money to the city for something they really need, which is reclaiming the neighborhoods, funding the neighborhoods to remove the blight driven by poverty, okay? Because people in the city are overtaxed. The 2.4 wage tax in the city has to be removed, because when you look at your property tax, and if you want this city for people to move here and to bring jobs here, we've got a payroll tax now in this city. You know, it's just not anything that's going to create something good. We need a small business incubator, like I've said before. And, you know, a lot of the things that I'm looking at aren't just the city. I've been asked to look into the Court of Common Pleas in regards to custody issues, and a host of other things. And I just think that people need to start getting involved and create a city that's on its way up. And that's just not happening here. And I hope people would call the mayor and call the council members and ask them, okay, and the rec authority to sit at a table. Let's have a discussion on one issue at a time. Let's start at NAOG, and let's move from there. And, you know, I appreciate your time today. And in closing, I'd like to say that I wish everybody, you know, a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah and whatever holiday you celebrate. And let's work together. You can reach me at leemorgansenior@gmail.com. You know, just, or 570-604-1212. Send me a text. You know, it's my hope to start a group in the city to begin to pursue the Home Rule Charter and a host of other things. And it all begins with you. And I thank you for your time today.